What I want to talk about today is a kind of what's in my camera bag video, and I thought that it would be a good time to do this video as I do foresee the items in my camera bag changing pretty dramatically over the course of the next 12 months. I should probably also start by saying that this is my kind of photography-oriented camera bag, because that's mainly what this channel is about. I obviously do a lot of work in video and have completely separate camera cases for all of that gear. And if that's something anyone's interested in seeing, then we can definitely do a breakdown of what's in my kind of video-centric camera setup as well. But this is basically my photography setup, and my photography ranges from doing client-based work to more personal stuff. And again, it's the personal stuff that this channel is more about. And so a lot of that gear is what you're going to see today. Before we jump into what's inside the bag, I thought it was also kind of a good opportunity to talk about the bag that I'm using, and that's the Peter McKinnon Nomadic camera bag. This bag has a lot of mixed reviews online, and a lot of those sort of more negative reviews come from the weight. I would say overall the bag has positive reviews, and a lot of people love using it, myself included, but it is a really heavy bag, and so if you're the kind of person that likes to travel incredibly light and keep your kit nice and light, maybe this isn't the bag for you. And I personally prefer to know that my gear is safe, and if it's in a tankier bag, I just see that as a benefit. Since I've had the bag, I've really put it through its paces. It's traveled all over the world, throughout Europe and Africa, as well as North America and throughout the Caribbean region. And with that, it's also been put through a ton of different weather conditions, from snowstorms in Canada to the humid heat of the Caribbean, and of course the copious amounts of rain in Europe. Through all of that, the camera bag has held up incredibly well, and my gear has always been kept safe, and to me, that makes it a winning bag. This is not a camera backpack review video though, so let's get that out of the way and move straight into what's inside my backpack. The first item has to be obviously my main camera body, and attached to that is the lens that I'm using 90% of the time. The camera body that I've been using for the past 4 or 5 years now is the Fujifilm X-H2. This is a 40 megapixel camera with a CMOS 5 sensor. It also has an APS-C style sensor, which means it is cropped. Not that full frame gloriness that we all love, but I've come to love using this camera, and the limitations of having a crop sensor haven't really affected me too much. The only time I'll say when it does become a bit of a pain is if I'm shooting in really low light situations and would love to squeeze a little bit more light out of the sensor. It can be a limiting factor, but at that point I'm usually using strobes or flashes anyways, so it's not a big deal. The lens on here is the 16 to 55 zoom lens. It has a fixed aperture of 2.8. It's kind of a one-trick pony and does a little bit of everything pretty damn well. It's also weather sealed, and so pairs really nicely as a sort of everyday lens for this camera. So moving on to my favorite lens of the mix is this Fujifilm 50mm. This is a 1.0 aperture lens, which more than makes up for the lack of light coming into the sensor when I need it. It also produces beautiful bokeh, and I just absolutely love the look of this lens. It's super solid, it's very heavy, but again, for me, the weight of gear doesn't really matter. I'm usually lugging around a Canon C400 on my shoulder or a C80 on a gimbal. So at this point, I'm used to carrying around heavy equipment, and having a lens this heavy and solid doesn't bother me at all. And again, the image quality from this thing is just absolutely beautiful. The lens that I probably use most often outside of those two is actually this kind of crazy 8mm to 16mm wide lens. The main thing I use this lens for is real estate work, which I don't do a ton of, but when I do, this is incredibly useful. This also has a fixed aperture at 2.8, which is pretty good to have on a lens this wide. The next lens I have, and it doesn't always come with me, but usually when I travel I take it everywhere, is this 16mm 1.4. This is a great lens for low light situations. If you're into astrophotography, it does a pretty good job. And just a pretty versatile wide lens to have in your kit bag. And the last lens, and the one I probably use the least, but whenever I do use it, I'm always super pleased with the photos I get from it, is this whopping great big 100 to 400mm, which is insane on the crop sensor. I think the 400 hits around 600mm. It doesn't have a fixed aperture like the others, so as you zoom in, you are losing light. But again, it's pretty versatile lens for what it is and what it does. And although it's almost always in my kit, if I'm traveling, sometimes this one does stay at home. That's the equipment that I use mostly for doing client-based work, but the camera that I get most excited about picking up, and the one that I probably use the most most is this guy here, which I'm sure if you're into cameras of any way, shape, or form, you know what it is. It's the Fujifilm X100VI, the newest model in this in the X100 lineup. This camera is just absolutely phenomenal, and that's not necessarily because of the specs of the camera, but more so just because it's so fun to use. It kind of has that sort of rangefinder feel that you get from shooting on something like a Leica M6 or something like that, which I'm going to talk about in a later video because I have that camera on my radar and I've wanted it in my camera kit for so long. I'm hoping that that maybe happens later this year. And like I said, it's not about the images I'm getting, it's about the process of taking the images and how fun it is to shoot with this camera. It's great for shooting behind the scenes. I use it all the time with family. It often makes an appearance on client shoots as well, and it always draws attention from clients. They always want to know about it. I would love to do at some point a full review of this camera because I have been using it now for a number of years. And again, it's a camera that I don't see ever really leaving my camera bag. It's just so much fun to use and travel with. I've got a few accessories on it, so it's actually built out a little bigger than it needs to be. This camera definitely can have a much smaller profile if you like it that way. But as I've said multiple times now, weight's not really an issue, so I don't really mind it being beefed up a little bit. On the top here, we've got a Polar Pro sort of filter box and the Short Stash everyday filter attached to it, which is a filter that never leaves the camera. And in fact, I'm probably going to get another one of these to fit on the 50mm that I have for the X-H2. And lastly, for this camera, the other accessories that I have with it is something that I recently picked up, which I haven't done much shooting for yet, but it is again Short Stash filters, and these are the diopter filters that allow you to shoot some really cool macro close-up shots. But we'll definitely be doing some more tests with these shift filters soon and see what kind of images we can get. I'm just trying to think of some really good subjects. I don't want to shoot stereotypical things like flowers. Okay, well, those are the main bodies that I'm shooting with, and last but not least is a camera that I'm really excited to talk about. So this is actually the first camera that I ever personally owned on a sort of professional level. When I say professional level, I wasn't shooting professionally with it, but it's the first professional body that I really owned. It belonged to my stepfather, and it is this Nikon FE 35mm film camera. It's something that I've only recently picked back up and dusted off, and I've been shooting with it recently. I've only shot 2 rolls on it, not developed anything with it yet, but it's just such a joy to shoot with, and it's really kind of opened up my eyes and passion for shooting 35mm film. And I think that's something that you're going to see a lot of on this channel, especially as I dive more into the world of shooting film. I'm hoping to get together with a guy here who's developing film himself on island. There's no place on island where you can develop film professionally, so you either got to do it yourself or send it overseas. But it's something that I'm excited to learn how to do. And I will, of course, be sharing my 35mm film journey with you all on here. But this camera is just, like I said, a joy to work with. I love everything about it, from the textures to the buttons to the sounds that it makes. And just taking the photos in general are just so much fun. So yeah, expect to see a lot more of this camera, and like I said, hoping to pick up a Leica M6. It's just a camera that I've always wanted to own and use. While I do own a beautiful Nikon 50mm 1.2 lens for this camera, it does have a sort of ton of fungus. I'm not really sure if you can see it on this lens, but because of that, I've stopped shooting a little bit with it and have been geared more towards this other lens that I picked up off of a friend, which is a 28mm 1.2. I'll be really interested to see how the film rolls come out. The only film I could actually get at the time was this Fujifilm C200 film, and I think the other one was a Kodak roll, which is in this other item that I was going to share with you guys that was also in my camera bag. This is a Nomadic Peter McKinnon film case holder, holds 2 rolls of film. These are the 2 rolls that I've shot so far. It says Kodak 400. I'm not sure if I'm going to send these off to be developed or wait until I head to Canada this July, where I'm going to be picking up a ton more film and hopefully getting anything that was shot developed. And the last thing that I'm going to show you guys that's in my camera bag is just this Anker power bank. This thing has traveled with me quite a bit lately and has been an absolute lifesaver. You can charge anything from your laptop to cameras, your phone multiple times, obviously. Has a ton of ports on it and a ton of power output. It is a 165 watt power bank. Highly recommend it. And as is the running theme of this video, this is not a light, small power bank. It's pretty heavy duty and takes up a ton of space. You can definitely get slimmer ones that might be better suited to your needs. Okay guys, with that in mind, that wraps up this second video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found some useful info. If you have any questions about the gear that's in my camera bag or the gear that hopefully will be in my camera bag over the next 12 months, shoot me a message below. Let's get a discussion going. I can't wait to share this 35mm film journey with you all. It's something that I'm just truly looking forward to and can't wait to experiment with all the different types of film stock. I've just actually ordered 10 rolls of expired film from a friend. It's been kept in the freezer for the past like 2 decades, so that will be some really fun experimenting, especially when it comes to processing that film. That is all from me today. Thank you and see you next time.